Hey Says, welcome back. We're reviewing the Ash-12 assault rifle today. Leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, Ace, what the hell is Ash-12 and what type of a name is this for a weapon? Well, it's called Ash-12 because it turns people into fucking ash. That's why it's called the Ash-12. This is the little brother of M250, the big boss LMG for engineer, that does similar damage to the Ash-12. Ash-12 is what I like to call a portable version of the Big Pig, which means you're more mobile, you can jump pick people, you can drop shot, and so on. On the screen right now you can see the build, and as you can see the gun does 34 damage at 46 meters. So it does a lot of damage, it's basically a 3-shot kill. But if that's not enough to convince you of its gun's damage, here's the other damage multipliers on the screen. You can see it does 54 damage to the head at 46 meters, which means it does DMR type of damage at quite extreme distances. So this is a 2-shot kill up to 46 meters, so long as you can hit those shots, of course. Now, everything is great with the Ash-12 when it comes to the damage models, but you have to be aware here that this gun probably has some of the highest recoil I had to deal with in Delta Force so far. At stock value, the gun comes at like 26 control, which is terrible. So if you have some coins saved up and you really want to play with this weapon after you watch this video, I would recommend that you max this weapon out, or if not maxed out, then come to the value where you can use the build that I'm showcasing here. Because other than that, it's pretty brutal actually using this gun early on. It's kind of most of the guns that are really good late game and come at like super far warfare level usually come crap stock. Like As-12 is another good example, comes a little bit later, comes with just 15 fucking mag size, and this thing also has a low 20 mag size, so you need to unlock a couple things to actually do this fucking big flanks I'm doing here with the gun. So keep that in mind. Other stats we have control, as I said, we maxed it out at 64. You can get it a little bit higher, but you also need the stability on this weapon. This weapon, it shakes like a fucking mule when you're shooting it, and that's what stability does. It reduces some of that shake in continuous fire, and it also offers us improved recoil reduction when we're actually holding our breath. Super important. Our handling, it's 32, it's not the best, and all engineer weapons that are, not battle rifles and so on, like the LMG type of weapons that do a lot of damage, you need to have some handling hit on them because you really need to have control and stability, unfortunately. So this is one of those weapons where you definitely want to surprise people, or you want to have a very good angle holding, and that means that you have to know the maps, which angles to hold, and so on. I'm not going to go into the detail of that because I mentioned it every video, but as an engineer you need to have very good map knowledge. Know what angles to pick, and you're going to make these weapons work beautifully. The scope I'm using, I was actually testing this scope, I actually forgot what it's called now, and it actually worked okay for me for the Ash-12, but of course the scope here is personal preference. You equip here what you want. The Cobra sight works, panoramic as well, I mean everything goes here. If you want to get fancy, you can even equip the higher magnification scopes and see how that plays out for you. I tried it out, for me it didn't work, but for you, perhaps it works. Continuing on, our stability is at 62. For some reason on this weapon you cannot actually equip some of the usual stocks you could equip on other weapons. It comes with its own pre-built stock, which is a little bit unfortunate because it's not like the best thing ever made. So stability at 62, you will feel some shake. I would highly recommend that if you killed 1 or 2 people that you reset the gun, don't keep firing it. Try to always bring it back into neutral state before just holding down the trigger of all the 30 bullets. You will see this gun's recoil and it's shaking. It's quite extreme, even when you have it maxed out like I do in this video. And then finally our accuracy, unfortunately at only 31. Now, as a big hipfire lover and a person who created a lot of builds for hipfire that you guys enjoyed over Delta Force Warfare mode, it pains me to say it, but accuracy on Ash-12 is unfortunately the dumb stat. There is a meme build you can try to use with only hipfiring this weapon. I tried it and I really tried to make it work, you have to believe me here, but it didn't work. This is like the more balanced build of, ADS, and, playing it like an LMG is the way to go with Ash-12, in my honest opinion. You can try the hipfire build, if it works for you, keep at it, but for me it really didn't. Though I will say at 31, at about 1 to 3 meters, you will still surprise people, and you can definitely hose them down with this thing, absolutely no problem, because the gun's incredible time to kill and its respectable fire rate at 500 will still surprise people how fast you will drop them, even if they're using some of the meta weapons like, SMG-45 or As-12 or CL-19 and so on. So it's no slouch even in hipfire department, even when it has low accuracy. The lower accuracy is a little bit helped by the laser sight that we are running on the Ash-12, but primarily the reason we are running the laser sight is of course to offer us excellent laser canted aiming. I mentioned this in a couple of my videos, I'm just going to mention it again for the newer viewers, that if you're not used to using canted laser aiming, you should probably get used to it. It's extremely powerful on weapons that have low handling, which results in them having slower ADS speed, which means that you cannot ADS weapons quickly enough before other guns kill you, like SMG-45 and the meta guns that have super high handling. and will surprise you that way. So, but with the laser aiming, the ADS time is nearly fucking instantaneous. It's extremely overpowered, so you need a very good keybind. I personally recommend that you put it somewhere close. Some people have it on Q on the keyboard, some people have it on E on the keyboard. I personally have it on a side mouse button on my mouse. So when I know that I have to use it, I click it and I'm in laser aiming immediately, and this gun is very good for laser aiming, as well as other weapons that have low handling. So I would highly recommend that you get used to it. And if you haven't practiced it yet, then I recommend you just load up in a couple of rounds and practice it. It's gonna be very beneficial. You will see here that I'm using it to quite extreme effectiveness, and you see how fast I ADS to weapon. Again, we just didn't have any time to react because I'm already ADS with the laser, and then I have a gun that kills me like fucking 2 to 3 shots at 46 meters. So really get used to this. I'm not kidding, guys. The one thing that really bothered me about Ash-12, and I really try to solve this for you guys and for myself, of course, is the muzzle velocity. On this weapon, it's very slow. You can physically see the bullets flying, like they're like a catapult round. It's really annoying. You cannot increase it further than like 550 because the developers restricted the Ash-12 in a lot of ways. It's like they understood what a monster this gun is, and they wanted to restrict at least that it's not super effective at range. So you will really need to lead the targets like 1 kilometer in front of them to hit them when they're running on range. It's extremely hard. So that's something you have to keep in mind. This gun isn't like super amazing on range. It's very good against stationary targets, but running targets are going to be a problem because of the very slow muzzle velocity. Also, you don't have a lot of attachments for the muzzle itself. You will have like a muzzle brake. You will see what I come up with the build. But you cannot like put a sense on vertical, or you cannot put a suppressor, as far as I'm aware, to increase the muzzle velocity or lower the recoil further. So they've really went out of the way here to restrict the weapon. Otherwise, it would probably be really overpowered. So I guess that's fine, but still kind of sucks having it restricted on the gun badge, because I think the gun badge is like the true beauty of Delta Force, where you can come up with some crazy builds. But, you know, Ash-12 is a little bit more straightforward in that regard, which is very unfortunate. And with that being said, that's basically the build and the video for the Ash-12. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave me a like and subscribe. And yeah, Season 2 is upon us. I'm gonna play, of course, as soon as it's out. I'm gonna try to push a video as fast as possible about the new operator. I really hope he's not like pay to win and we just get him for free like the other operators. Maybe he's gonna be locked behind some event and so on. But yeah, we're gonna see when it's there. I'm gonna make a video and give you my first impressions of what I think about him and the other things that come in Season 2. So yeah, also follow me on Twitter if you want, please. I want to farm up some Twitter followers. If you have some questions, you can also just DM me there. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.